It's the Two Gems Podcast.
What is that thing on your hat?
A Duke, I guess?
No, but show the cameras because I've never seen that logo before.
That's why I like it.
Have you ever seen that logo before?
No, I stumbled into. I found this new website called Hat Crawler, and on this website, it scrubs the internet for every hat launch across every website ever.
Okay.
So, being a hat collector, like one of the hardest things to do is like staying on top of all the different sites, like Hat Club and friggin'. Oh my God, there's like Capsule or friggin' Culture Kings, like freaking Lid's Hat Drop. Like there's so many of these websites, and like every day I would go in and check it every night and see what drops happen. And I found this new site called Hat Crawler, and it has every site ever. Like there's like
all together.
Yeah, it pulls in every hat that launched on any given day, like to the minute. Like if a new hat launched now, it's on Hat Crawler, like on any website.
That's a good idea to create that.
It's incredible. And so anyway, I was scrolling through one day and I saw this hat and I was like, shit. And anyway, I went over to the Albuquerque Duke store and spent $150.
So why do you think you're so obsessed with hats?
Well, my hairline sucks, so I've bought hats my whole life.
Yeah, you're definitely a hat collector.
I can't believe after being gone for 2 months we're talking about hats first. No, I think there's like I think people just need a thing. People need something that's like so that it gives them a purpose a little bit. Not that like hats are my purpose, but I think that it just gives me something to do. Like rather than scrolling Facebook and reading posts every night or something, it's like I'll scroll through Hat Crawler and look at different hats and different color combinations and stuff. And I think there's like a little bit of nostalgia to it. Like I remember being a kid and going in and getting my first 5950 New Era fitted hat. I remember it.
You actually remember?
Oh yeah, the first hat that I fell that I the first hat that I fell in love with was I think it was an old Seattle Mariners hat. I think it was Seattle it's like a turquoise hat that my buddy had, and I remember just thinking it was fire when I was in like grade 3 or something like that. And Mark, my buddy Mark, you met him that time like way back at the bar.
Yep, I remember.
And so it was such a nice hat, and then I went and got an Ottawa Senators hat because I grew up in Ottawa. And I got like a really nice Sens hat and everything, and then I've just kind of loved hats ever since then.
You have a really good memory.
With like random shit like that, I do, yeah.
I do not.
It's like photographic for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's a blessing or a curse that I have such a terrible memory. I find I remember more the way I felt in certain moments. Like I can remember feelings. Like when I smell the dead leaves and like fall happening, like I remember feeling like as a child, like cozy and warm and home. Or when I smell fresh grass, like I remember feeling and how I felt being outside and like running around and playing.
It's funny you're talking about smells.
Why?
Well, smells are the sensation that like has a nostalgic tie to it.
Yes.
It like sparks a memory. That's what your smells do.
Yeah, my smell is definitely probably my most used sense. Like out of the 5 senses, I would say my smell. Like when you come down, I think you don't realize how much I love cologne and like a good smelling man. Like sometimes I'll be at the mall and somebody walks by and I'm like
oh yeah, same.
I love it. Or like a woman walks by and you're like, oh my God, like that smells so good. And I think I wear perfume pretty often, but you don't really wear cologne very much. You just don't care.
No, I do. I usually do a squirt every day. You're probably just immune to it now.
Yeah,
I usually do like one little blast every day.
Maybe you just don't wear enough. Maybe it needs to be more. I don't know.
Well, it could be too that you've just smelled it so much that you, like if you just don't notice it.
Well, and then on top of that, like our kids are so annoying. They go around smelling or spraying all of our stuff. Like the other day I look over and Theo's squirting your cologne, but not like to walk through. It's just on his shirt. And I'm like, Theo, that's not how you do it. You just permeate. It was so stinky. Anyway, Matt and I had been gone for a while, and when we were gone...
hold on. Let me talk about hats for one more second.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
Okay, so like this hat, I've never seen anyone wear it before.
Okay.
I've never seen it. And this logo, because I'm a designer, logos like turn me on. Like, it's like weird. Like, I freaking love good logos. And this little guy...
It's a whole other thing.
With this mustache. Sheridan, draw me a logo. No, but this little guy on here, just like there's something about him.
I think that guy's so weird.
No, and see, I'm so trained with looking at hats now that I can tell who's wearing a cool hat and who isn't. Like when I'm walking around the mall, I'm like, man, you cop that at Lids upstairs, and everyone in this mall has that hat.
Right.
Like when people see this hat, I've gotten more compliments on this fitted hat than any other hat I've ever owned.
This particular
This
one?
hat. People stomp me on in Mexico, in Colorado, and we're like, what is that? What team is that? Like Albuquerque. Oddly enough, it's actually just south of Colorado. It's like in New Mexico, Albuquerque Dukes. But this hat, like no one has it and no one will have it. And it's dope. Like, so when I'm walking around the mall or whatever, like no one knows what it is.
Right.
But they know it's fire.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Cool.
So like hat guys, it's so funny because
No, but
no
it's fun.
women care at all.
Right, yeah.
It's literally just for men to be in a circle jerk and be like, nice fitted, bro. Like it's literally all it is. Like when you see videos of like a hat launch at Hat Club or something, there's like 500 guys lined
Yes.
up, not a woman in sight.
Yeah, but you know
and they're
what?
all there like, and when the cameras walk up, they're all going like this and like turning their pins and shit. And it's so
That's
funny.
kind of fun, though.
It is fun.
to have like a bro thing going on
It's something.
versus looking for, like attention seeking from women. It's like you have like a bro thing going on. I
Absolutely.
like that.
It's Fades by Fish. You know,
Yeah.
the hairdresser guy. Me and him have like a little bromance on the
About
side going.
hats.
That started about hats.
I love that. I think that's kind of like with me in books, I would say. Because as you were talking, I'm like, what's my thing? I'm like, duh, my thing is books.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to women all the time when I post a book and we kind of like chat through if we've read them and what they think and if they'd like it. And I'm like, I love that we just have like a thing going.
Yeah.
So yours is hats. Cool.
Well, I have a lot of things.
I know, Matt, but right now we're talking about hats, okay?
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was gonna
Matt's
say,
like,
I'm
I like other things.
I'm like, I have so many things sometimes. Love that about myself. I'm involved in a lot of things.
We love a self-confident guy.
Love it. So I came to a revelation last night.
Yes, what is it?
It's about hats. No, just kidding. No, I looked at you last night. Like while you were sleeping, I was watching you. I actually made a note of this. I got my phone out while you were sleeping and took a note to say this, and I just happened to remember it.
Okay.
Is you are an anomaly.
What?
You can sleep any way you want.
What do you mean?
Well, like lately I'm looking over at you, and you're on your back. You're on your back, like flat as a board. Just
Really?
flat out, chin up, just laying there.
No.
Yeah, and I'll like come
You
over and
must
like
be
check your
sleeping
pulse.
somewhere else. That's
Nobody,
not me.
I'm telling you, I'll photograph you tonight. You've been a back sleeper lately.
I have never slept on my back.
Every night you're on your back most of the night now. I'm telling you. I'm
What?
telling you, I know. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, how the fuck? Like if I lay on my back for like even 45 seconds, it feels like my rib cage is going to collapse. Like I can't do it. I have to be on a side.
So do I.
I have to be on a side with an arm up above my head. I sleep like that. It's weird.
It's funny how everybody has a sleeping position. My whole life, my whole
No,
childhood.
you're ambidextrous. You can do like different
This
sleeping.
is weird because my whole life I was a tummy sleeper. Like stomach, like not even.
Shut up. No.
No, I'm not.
Flat. Like, what
Flat.
do your boobs do?
No, well, I didn't have boobs growing up all the time, Matt. I'm saying
okay.
I would lie there and I'd have one arm and I'd put a leg up. That's what I did. So I was like flat.
Oh my God. That's how Theo sleeps.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly how I slept every night of my life. And then I got pregnant with Kaya. And I remember I honestly had a meltdown. Like one night I was like, holy shit, at some point my stomach's going to get too big and I won't be able to sleep on my belly anymore. And I panicked because I had slept like that straight on my belly for 24 years.
Okay, but when you were 24, you had boobs. So
I know, but I still slept on my belly.
how's that work?
Well, they like smush. So
Is that why your boobs veer?
yeah. So anyway.
Sharon's got veers.
So what? That doesn't make sense.
It's another thing to think about.
So
Nipple
then-
size and what do they do when they're unleashed?
Well, that's
Is that something you think you can... Men talk about these things.
lots happens when they get unleashed. Lots. Anyway, so then I had Matt. So then I got pregnant, and then one day I just started because you slept on your side. I remember
Side
you
sleeper.
used to sleep on your side with a pillow, and I thought, what a psychopath. I remember because I would sleep on my stomach. I'm like, who sleeps with a pillow between their legs?
Oh,
And
the pillow between the leg method's incredible.
Lo and behold, so after I did that, I started, after finally, when I couldn't sleep on my belly anymore, I was like, "Ugh, I'll just try it." And I remember for a couple months, I could barely get to sleep because of my side sleeping. And now, 7 years later, I could never sleep on my stomach. But the fact that you said sleep on my back, I actually don't believe you, and I'm going to need photographic evidence.
I'll photograph tonight.
Do
Every
it.
night. You're laying on your
Every
back.
night?
Yes, you're laying on your back. And every night I'm looking at him like, who lays on their back?
Psycho, serial killers. That's who lays on the back. So this is what I've read about. This is what I've read about. So
Yeah, I did just up the insurance policy.
every Forensic Files episode.
Yeah.
Every single one, you think it just might be somebody else, and then they're like, and then
Yeah.
the life insurance was changed 2 weeks
Oh
prior.
my God, like, bro, just wait 3 years. Like, why do you always do it like 18 days after?
I know, it's so ridiculous.
every
Speaking of TV,
freaking time.
Matt, do you want to tell the people what you've been into lately? You don't want to talk about it right now?
No, I do. I'm just thinking, I don't remember everyone's names and shit.
I
I
will.
just remember JP and how I want to jump kick him through the TV.
Okay, so Matt and I started watching Love is Blind. I forget how long ago it was, but we did an episode where we spoke about...
It was titled Love is Blind.
Yeah, so
were
we spoke
obsessed.
about the
You were obsessed.
concept.
Yes.
And I explained it to you, and you were kind of talking it through with me, and I was like giving you the lowdown of whatever. And so we chatted through it. And then a new season came out. And I don't really understand the way reality TV works, but I'm sure that they record a couple seasons at a time and then like upload it throughout different... I don't know, but I know there's this whole
I
science
doubt
behind
that.
it. No,
They probably do one at a time because then like a couple seasons. Sorry, what am I saying? I think they would only do one at a time so that they can gauge like what people are into as far as the people. And
I don't
the
think that's
demographics.
correct. I think that I have to go Google this, so like don't quote me, but I think they've like put a couple of them together. I'm almost positive. Anyways, so we started watching the new season. Now we're not done. We have 2 episodes left, but but it happened because Matt came home from Colorado, and you can talk about that after we get through Love is Blind. If we get through it, that's going to be a lengthy conversation. But Matt came home, and I was, of course, all excited, and he was messed up with the time change. So we started watching the season, and then we watched like 4 episodes that one night.
Yeah.
And then we came back and watched, I don't know, 3 more or whatever. So now we're kind of up to date before the weddings. And Matt, yesterday when we were in the playroom, he actually got up off of the couch and went to go fake kick the TV. You were so angry.
Oh my God. Like, where are we even going to start with talking about this?
See, Love
Like,
is
are we
Blind is
jumping right in as episode 6 and talking about JP? Like, is that what we're doing? Are we
So
bypass?
the people that have seen Love is Blind obviously will understand what we're referring to. But in other words, we can just talk about, like, you get the concept at this point. You're in different pods. You start dating around a bunch of different people. You've never seen their faces.
Okay, so slow down.
Well,
Slow
people,
down.
Matt, I'm not talking that
Slow,
quickly.
slow down a little bit, though. Like, so, like, do you like the idea of the pod thing? Like,
I
do you
love
like
it.
it? You like it?
Also, I need to let this be known that
Oh, I already know what you're going to
Matt is so sure that he would be the all-star of Love is Blind.
She's loving me, right?
Yeah.
No, okay. Sometimes, I don't know. When the cameras are rolling, some people can get really weird. So you kind of have to give people the benefit of the doubt in
For
that
sure.
regard.
But
Like,
it'd probably be just like this.
yeah, but you and I are like comfortable. And B, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like I would do well on the show because I'm not really an awkward person anyway. I am like the epitome of an outgoing person. Like, I was saying this to Janan and Nick the other day. I thrive in those situations. Like, if you throw me into a party where
Loves
I know
attention.
nobody, love it. If you throw me into a party where I don't know anyone,
Right.
that's like almost my best situation.
Right.
I can chameleon in, have some jokes and stuff, and tell people shit that they don't know
Right.
about me. Anyway, I also really like learning about people.
For sure.
That I don't know. I just think people's stories are so cool. How'd you get there? What'd you do? Anyway.
The interesting thing too, though, like your voice, I don't think matches what you look like at all. Do you think my voice matches what I look like?
I never thought about it.
Well, think about it, because I think that your voice, when people see you, excuse me, and like the way you dress and the way you look and stuff, they would expect it to be deeper. So I think.
So what would a person look like that my voice matches?
Okay, so let me close my eyes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, and that's the crazy thing about the pods is you just don't know what these people look like. You have absolutely no idea. But I'm not gonna make like a human of what I think that you would look like. I'm just saying that I think that your voice doesn't necessarily match your body to the point where when you walked out, they'd be like, "Oh, that's exactly what I expected," right?
Whose does though?
Well, no.
Whose does without the context of like knowing what the singer
Stacey
looks
girl,
like?
is that her name? Stacey? Blondie, the one that you don't love,
Yeah.
with Izzy. I kind of find she made sense with her voice.
Really?
I think I even feel like Johnny made sense with her voice. She's kind of like, just like her vibes.
See, I wondered if that show would be better. Like it would be really cool to do an experiment on the next season where you don't actually watch it, you listen to it, so that we're also engaging in it blindly.
The whole time?
Maybe just for an episode and see if you can pick up what people would look like.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Because
idea.
we're watching it and falling in love with these people, not blind. Like,
Right.
see, the show is flawed a little bit. And here's why. Because, okay, oh my God, there's so much to talk about.
But
Like,
can you just give a quick synopsis for people that haven't listened to the show, what exactly it's about before we keep going? Like just like a 30
well, I thought you
second.
did. So
Well,
basically,
you interrupted me and you said stop.
well,
talking so
basically, there's like,
fast.
let's say 15 women, 15 men, and they basically alternate in these rooms. So like, and they basically just like go in a big like musical chairs kind of thing. And the person on the other side of the wall, they can't see. And so they never really specify how much time they get a day with each person. It looks like it's probably like 20 or 30 minutes or something.
I also feel like once you start connecting with somebody, you can go back in. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure once you want to, you can like go back in and see that person as
Yes.
often as you want.
But at that point, I think people are starting to whittle out a little bit
Right.
anyway. But yeah, so anyway, it's like, can you fall in love without seeing somebody?
Yeah. So, but then
But here's the thing that makes it weird, though, is everybody's sitting there with cameras all over them.
Right.
So it's slightly flawed because you're not, like, some people aren't comfortable in front of a camera.
I agree.
Like when they're having sex, when they finally get to see each other and all that shit, man, there's cameras on top of the bed.
yeah. Well, no.
So like, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
That's
there's
their own-
there's a top down. There's like a GoPro on the ceiling, looking down at their naked bodies having sex.
Yeah.
Imagine how weird that would be.
Yeah.
Because even though it doesn't air, like some creep in the back is editing your penis and everything, and like it's just like what a weird thing.
Yeah.
Every minute, every interaction, they're like showers. There's his penis in the shower with her, like she's all over it, and like you're like there's just a camera on the other side of the glass. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
So all those interactions are slightly tainted because there's cameras everywhere.
I agree.
So then when that Elias or whatever, what's his name, Ulish or the guy there, the
Uche.
when Uche was having that big conversation, I'll try and keep this sport, but when he was having that conversation with the woman there on the one that we watched yesterday, it's like he's sitting here and he's like a relationship in the pod, they're like intertwined and all this stuff, and like, you know, and now that we're out here, like you really should have considered that to everything, and like when we fell in love with just the way he was talking, I'm like, man, you have to understand that now you're out in the real world and it's completely different. No matter how you want to look at it, it's different now. You're not inside a pod, there's not 500 cameras on you, you're not being recorded, it's real now.
I find see, that's not really what I want to talk about. Like, I agree with you, but I just find it so fascinating that people can get to know people on an emotional level and talk and spill their whole hearts and understand one another and like feel that and feel empathy towards them and fall in love with them just based on who they are as a person.
Yeah.
And then they see each other physically, and then it's either like a yay or a nay. And I'm not going to say that these people aren't attractive, because they are all attractive. And as we've talked about, everybody has beauty in them, but it's what you find attractive, right? Because not everybody finds the same thing attractive. And it's just, but what were you going to say?
Nothing.
I also do think, though, that a person is more attractive once you've gotten to know them.
100%.
So instead, they did that first. So they got to know each other, and then they put the physical together, right? And it's like, oh, wow, this is nice. I already fell in love with you for who you are. And now, oh, cool. Like, I'm attracted to you as well, right?
What's the blonde girl's name?
Taylor.
Taylor.
Love
So
her.
Taylor, if I just saw a picture of her,
Okay.
I probably wouldn't like. I probably wouldn't really be that
not your
attracted. She's
type?
not really my type. But like after seeing her for 10 hours and in the show and everything, I love her so much. Like I find her super attractive. Because
See, I actually think Taylor is very attractive. I think she's so cute. I think she has she has great boobs too, but she has great personality. She's so sweet, and I think she's attractive. I would find her attractive.
Yeah.
Like at first glance, I'd be like, oh wow. Like if she dropped her thing, I'd be like, oh my, you know, there's something in my eye. But yeah. So then So then there was a lot of drama on this season. Unfortunately for me, because I've seen like 3 now, and lots of people have said that this is like their least favorite season. It kind of sucks, which to be honest, I feel like it does. Because at this point, I could actually care less if these 2 couples get married or not. Like I could care less. Whereas before I was like, I need to know. Like, do they say yes or no, you know?
I know, I really don't care either.
No, like I don't even care if we finish it. But I still find the idea of it all. Oh, here's what I was getting at. So then Izzy and Stacey?
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Stacey, something.
Whatever. They go and they meet their families, right? And then the families are a thing. Now
this is littered with spoilers, so hopefully we're not ruining this for anybody.
Okay, yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, we'll
start
too
it off
late.
by
You already,
spoilers.
you already said they go.
No, but Die Hard Love Is Blind fans will have already watched
obviously.
this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and all that they spoke about at Stacey's like family thing was money.
Oh my God.
That's all they talked about.
It was so shallow.
Now, mind you, and I do think this is so important to say, that the editors that are sitting there after they've recorded weeks, however long this experiment takes, of footage are just picking out the stuff that makes it entertaining, right? Because it's show business, baby, as they say. Like maybe they spoke for an hour.
No, yeah, sure, but you definitely got the vibe
For
off
sure.
that that's what it was.
For
Like that
sure.
family was about money, and
Yes.
and the dad even said one of the first things out of his mouth is, my daughter likes the first class seats and likes it and the expensive trips. Like, oh my God,
I
what
know,
a
it's
turn
really
off. Like,
yucky.
I don't know. It's
And he's sitting there and he's like, he's never been able to fly before. He's never traveled. And
Right, he's doing his own thing.
And for him, I mean, Izzy's his own other situation. But in terms of that, like he obviously worked hard to get to where he's at and is proud of himself for being there. And then he's with a woman where she's like, and if I don't pay for it, my dad will end up paying for it. And we don't want him to pay for it. So will you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, the HVAC system.
Yeah.
Are you going to put $20,000 into the HVAC system?
Right.
Like, slow down.
But I almost feel like, I don't know if there's like a thing on the pods where they said you can't speak about this, and this. But I would think that like, didn't they already speak about financial things and whether it's important to them or not, like in the pod, because that's kind of important.
No, I thought we're getting into the granular details, but I think she said something about not bringing that up in there. I think.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she did.
Sorry, there's really something. In my eye.
It is an interesting concept, though. It totally is, but I still feel like the show is flawed. It's not perfect because people have like. You know when you see, like sometimes you'll see somebody and they just have a swagger to them.
Okay.
Like I sit in the mall food court all the time and work. You know this. I sit in the mall food, so I people watch all the time. I find it inspiring. I'll just watch people. What are they wearing? How do they walk and stuff? And sometimes you'll see some dude coming through that food court. I don't need to talk to him. I don't need any. I know he's the man. I can just tell. You'll see some woman going by and like you can build a whole story around them. There's just like an energy to them. You know those kinds of people.
Okay. Yeah.
There's an air like Joe. So the Joe guy that we've been doing work with and stuff lately, like, man, even before Joe talked, there was like a smile, like the unsaid things to people. And that's the weird thing about this show is that you don't get the unsaid. It's all said. Like you can't read someone's demeanor and how they walk and their confidence and do they have their chin in the air? Or are they like slouched over and depressed or like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I don't even know what the hell I'm even saying right now. But
why
you don't
is that flawed then?
Because you don't get to read someone like that. So like we keep coming back to this JP guy, but I mean she loved JP in the pod. JP was the man in the pod when the world wasn't real around him.
Right.
And then he came out and he sucked.
Right.
And like but he was decent inside when the world wasn't around him. So he's this phony guy that can't exist in the real world. Like
that doesn't make him phony. He obviously just has
his
own
weird.
issues.
It was really weird.
Well, that was a weird one for me. The makeup thing was such a
Nah, that was a front. That was a front. It had nothing to do with the makeup.
Yeah.
That was him deflecting his own personal insecurities, and he was deflecting it on her with the fucking only thing he could come up with.
Yeah, that was so weird to me.
And then as soon as she's over there with tears in her eyes and all beaten up, and he's over on the other side of the bed smiling now, like he's like, shit, now it's off me, it's on her now. Like, what a weird thing.
Yeah.
He's got some weird psychological shit going on.
Okay, and then also though, and that's the thing, and what I find so interesting about these shows is that they can paint certain pictures for somebody. So like for Uche and Lydia, oh my gosh, the drums. But it's like, who is the one that's telling the truth, right? Because now Lydia, at first you totally believe it's Uche, and you're like, oh my gosh, Lydia is nuts. Like she's stalking him and all this stuff and looking at people's Instagram stories, like whatever. He paints her to be like that. And then all of a sudden Lydia's over there like, well, you did this, this, and this. And then, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's like, what's that expression? There's two sides, or there's three sides. Your side, the other side, and the truth. Yeah. Right? So I just, commendable that people go on this show. I will say that, because like they're there, they're vulnerable, they're trying to find love, but also just like the whole thing to me is so fascinating, and I'm glad that you're watching it with me.
Oh, I'm obsessed. I find it super. I find it super interesting. Right. I just find people interesting in general. Mm-hmm. So watching them go through, like they keep calling it this experiment, I find really interesting. Mm-hmm. But it's flawed, and I don't care what anyone says. It's not real. It's not real life. It would never be like that.
Well, and then the thing is too, like the couples that actually end up together and get married, like from a couple seasons ago, I can think of Alexa and Brennan and Chelsea and, oh my God, what is his name? I'm having a brain fart. I can picture his face. Anyway, they got married, and there's another one too, Colleen and Matt, but nobody really loved them. So the other two are now going to events, doing ads. So it's like going to baseball things and being the people that throw the pitches. You know what I mean? So it's like, is that even real after you got married and now you're just kind of like in the spotlight? Or are you just like loving that life together and the lifestyle? Because like, it just doesn't feel like maybe that's what would have happened when you came away from the show, to just go back to like a normal life, right? Like they're not even living a quote unquote normal life, you know? So I don't know.
Well, I think the thing is too, is that once they get out of there and go start like seeing the person's real life, like seeing their friends, seeing their condo, or whatever, their house. Yeah. Like you can't fake it anymore.
No, you can't.
We're people inside of these little, these little pods. Mm-hmm. They get to live in these little echo chambers where they can create this fake entity if they want. Yeah. You know what I mean? They can put a front on, much like Uche did there. Uche. Much like he did. He's a master manipulator. You could see it. He had all of our heartstrings pulled the whole time, and then at the end you find out he's a douche too. Like, so.
But I'm still not sure about that, because then I went onto his Instagram.
He is. I looked at his Instagram.
I wondered, and he said that him and Lydia were never dating. They were agreed to see other people. So maybe he was like, oh my God, this show's painting me out to look like a terrible person. I would like to get my story out, and they cut it. And that's what I mean. You just never know.
Yeah, but I can read him now. I know that type of person. I know that type of person. The way that the whole time he's trying to like be in control of the situation, and like he's not even really even listening to what the other person's saying. He's just waiting to tee up his next brilliant little like perfectly articulated thing. Right. And he's a salesman too, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he. Oh my God, he's up there on the stage like selling software or something in front of like thousands of people. So he knows how to spit game, right? And then all of a sudden you start finding out that he's also manipulating everybody around him. Right. So, you know what I mean? So that's the thing about the show. Like, I will agree. Like, I could absolutely fall in love with somebody that I couldn't see. Of course you could. Right. And then the curtains come back and like, holy shit, okay, we weren't what I was expecting. I'm so in love with you anyway. Nothing else matters. Amazing. And then you go into the real world and realize like, that's how they walk. That's their energy. That's their house. Oh my, like what? Like, and then all of a sudden, those are all real attributes to a relationship as well. Right. Imagine. Like imagine if you went into the guy's place and he was amazing behind the thing, and then you saw him and like, you were attracted to him, and then you go to his house and it's just a complete shithole and like roaches. Like they can hide all that from you.
Yep. For sure.
Right?
Yes.
Because you're going to put your best face on in the show.
Obviously. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like
it's interesting.
It is interesting. So let's get off the topic of Love is Blind. But actually, before I get off the topic, speaking of love, I wrote something down here, and I don't know why, but is the only way to truly move on finding someone else? Let me say that again. Is the only way to truly move on finding someone else?
No.
I'm just going to pose that question.
No, it's the easiest way. It's not the only way.
To truly move on. As in you're not thinking about your past and you're not, you know.
Are you really wondering that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I am wondering.
Like you think in your head that the only way to truly move on is to find someone else. Like, what about people that find happiness in themselves? What?
For sure. And people definitely find happiness within themselves and like go soul searching and like stuff like this. But do you finally feel like a chapter has closed from your life and your past when you find someone else and you start a new life?
Well, it's certainly not the only way.
Mm-hmm. Like, let me ask you this.
It's the cheat code way.
Let me ask you this.
Get some new boobs in your face, and all of a sudden you don't care anymore.
Let me ask you this. If you and your ex had split up and I hadn't come into the picture and you were single for a whole year, let's say, okay? You're single for a whole year.
It's hard for me to imagine.
Well, just imagine that you're single, because I know you love having relationships, so let's just visualize this, okay? Do you think that, like, you would still be hung up in a sense on that relationship until you finally met me and you're like, see ya, now I'm into this?
Well, okay, so let me throw a question back in your court. Sure. Like, could this person hypothetically be having like one night stands too to just kind of like get the juices flowing?
Sure.
Okay.
But not in love. Like, didn't find someone else to like find love in and like create another relationship with.
Like, I know why you're asking this. Because the answer is the easiest way is to realize other people want you. Mm-hmm. And like so then all of a sudden the personal like guilt's not the right word, but I think sometimes when you leave a relationship, or if you, like in my case where like we broke up and my confidence level definitely took a dip. Right. It dived.
Right.
Because I was like, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it about me that wasn't good enough for this person? And so then all of a sudden your confidence is dipping and you're starting to doubt yourself and everything. And then another person comes into your life and you're like, shit, well, they love me. Mm-hmm. So it must have been them. I'm awesome, actually. Right. Like, it's the easiest way to come right out of the hole. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I certainly think that if I somehow avoided female contact for friggin' a year or two or whatever and really just focused on myself, I mean, I think I would come to realize that I'm incredible, and anyone. I don't know. I definitely think you could close it without someone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to hear your input on this.
No, I think that's a good point. And when and why did I write that down? I don't know.
We need an answer.
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm not sure why I'm flawed like this, but I think I always had a hard time closing doors in my past relationships, whether that be just like friendship or keeping in touch or having that like open line of communication. And why I did that, I don't know. Like, even thinking back to it now, it's like, oh my God, Sheridan, go to therapy so that you can figure that one out, because it's weird. And I think that women are more like that, and I think men are not. Like, I don't
really. I would have thought the opposite.
Really?
Well, we all know this. I think you and I have talked about men just need another thing.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I said
sorry.
Women are more apt to leave a line open for their past relationships,
so
whereas men are like, bye, and yeah, and I don't know why we're like that. I don't know if it's just like I don't know if it's just like the motherly role and maternal. I don't know. And I don't know, but I've always felt like I needed to take care of. So maybe that's why I always kept like the door open. Like, if you need me though, I'm here, you know? And I guess I just wonder, I don't know. It's just something on my mind. So I was just curious your input, but I think you're right.
I think we need to deep dive this though, Sheridan.
I don't want to dive any deeper.
This is a weird thing about you. Okay. You know what I want to bring up right now? Sure. I feel like it should have been the first thing that we said on the show today. Maybe we can make it out of a reel or something like that. That'll be the teaser.
Okay, I'll wait for you to talk. Go.
What were you going to say?
Sometimes I have to stop so that for the reel, it's like perfectly silent. Off you go.
No, but I'm blown away on a very frequent basis at how many people find this show to be they find solace in it. Like they like the amount of people.
That's gonna be on the reel.
No, the amount of people. Buddy, I'm rusty. We haven't talked on these stupid things all summer.
No, it's just funny.
No, but like the amount of people that have come up and been like, you've helped me through this situation, through that situation. You inspired me to do this or that. Or even just people coming up and just being like, it's so relatable. It's like a breath of fresh air. It blows me away. It really, really does.
Do you know what I think it is? I think that Instagram has given people these ideas of how people's lives look. And it's the edited version, right? It's the version with a filter on it. So I think because a lot of the listeners, and not all of them, because it's not all of them, but I think a lot of them have come from my Instagram, and where they learned about me there, and my perfectly scripted captions, and you know how much I love you and I'm obsessed with you, and blah, 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 and like just like portraying like the perfect family. Although I think I've always kind of done, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to dive into that. And then I think they came over to the podcast and they're like, oh shit, they're just really two regular people that I relate to, and they're like, oh, this is really nice. It's not as it appears necessarily online, right? And I think people find comfort in that, because I think online and like everything that's on social media right now can really fuck with you. Seriously.
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
I think, there's almost like this like preconceived notion now that people's lives are all perfect, because that's really all like totally generalized, but that's what gets shared are the best of times.
Right.
And so people kind of hold you to some like gold standard of happiness, and then they look at themselves and they're like, man, I'm just not as happy as that, or like I don't have that, or how did they get to those places, or whatever it is. And then I think there's something about this show that's kind of grounding for all of us, that like, man, you and I are just two friggin' fools trying to figure life out. It's all it is. Remember when you were a kid? When you were a kid, did you think your dad was a superhero? And I don't mean that in a literal sense, but like, was your dad like, God, he's strong and fast, and like there's always food on the table, and mom's the best, and like, man, life's just perfect. Like that's how I grew up thinking. And like our household was like pretty crazy. But like I remember like Andrew could pick me up with one hand. And as like a little boy, you know, Theo's like, Dad, can you pick that rock up? Do you think you can? Could a lion? Could an elephant? Like kids hold their parents like to some status where it's like, man, like Dad can lift me with one arm. And then all of a sudden you grow up and start realizing that your parents are just as fucked as you are. And we're all trying to figure this world out. You know what I mean? Everybody's fighting a battle. Every person. The houses that you think are the most perfect inside, man, they're trying to figure it out too. Everybody is. Everyone, inflation, all this shit. Everyone's trying to figure life out. And, you know, I love that you and I have created this little like world around us where people find us relatable and approachable. Like people come up to us and talk. Like people come and talk to me all the time. I love your wife. I love this show, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm so glad you just came up and said hi, because I'm nothing special, trust me. I'm just a designer with a little shitty room in here with some cameras and stuff.
Don't turn the camera. There's a dishwasher over there.
There's a dishwasher that we hauled out of the wall 2 years ago in my office over there. Like, trust me, like, you know, we're just normal people. Everybody is.
I read this quote, or I saw it on Instagram maybe a while ago, and talking about your parents, and it said, and it really resonated with me, because it said, you know, at some point your children are going to grow up and they're going to realize that you're just a person. So
I love that.
And it's so true. And so like, make sure that you're the best person that you can be for them, right? And it's so true, because I agree with you 100%. When you're a kid, everything seems, I don't know. I don't know. I guess you explained it pretty well.
You look at life through rose-colored lenses.
Yeah, and then you grow up and you're like, holy shit, my parents are just people too.
Yeah.
And they also make mistakes, and they're also not perfect. And to be honest, I don't like the way they did XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I find that when you become a parent, you really take a deep dive in and look at your parents and the way that they raised you and the way they taught you and their beliefs and their morals, and you're like, is that what I want to do with my children, right? So I find your parents really get put on a microscope when you become a parent yourself. At least that's how I feel. And And I find that fascinating. And I honestly, I'm a little bit scared because
Don't be.
no, but I'm a
Don't be.
little bit scared because I'm not perfect. And
Oh
you know,
my God, Sheridan.
no, but
You're
I mean,
such a good mom.
let me go on.
Sorry.
I raise my voice. I'm not perfect. I get angry.
Ew.
I'm just telling you. And you know, I never thought I'd be like that as a parent, and here I am like that. I have a short fuse. I get overwhelmed. I get overstimulated, and Kaya's at an age now, especially because Kaya's memory is almost ridiculous. She's like, I remember when I was in my crib drinking a bottle. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I remember when I was in utero and you were listening to Tupac in the car.
And I honestly think she's kidding sometimes. And she's like, no, I used to wear this pink little onesie, and I know exactly what she's talking about. And I remember you walked in and da-da-da. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're one of those. With like a perfect memory. So I think to myself, like, when she's older and she's, you know, however old, and we sit down and have these conversations about, you know, me being a mom and her when she was growing up, it's just kind of scary to be like, what's a girl going to think and say, right?
I'll tell you what
she's going to say. Did she turn out the way she wanted to? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what they're going to say. I'm going to put this question back in your court because maybe you don't ask yourself this enough.
Okay.
Don't you find that having grown up and seen all the sacrifices your parents made for you, doesn't that more than anything make you empathize with their situations and love them more?
Yes.
Like in my mom's case, because she would probably be the one that would like, you know, probably be the truest to this sense that I'm talking about right now. My God, man, I'm some fumbly on the mic today. Normally I'm pretty good with my words, but like I look at my mom and oh man, I'm crying. I look at my mom and everything she's done for me, and like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I just like I look at what she's like, everything she's ever done for me, and I love her more for that. She probably wouldn't want me saying this, but like my mom, like numerous times hit me with a big ass wooden spoon. Like, you know, it wasn't like some perfect little fucking fairy tale thing, but like I look at what my mom went through and. Even something as stupid as like probably taking her bottom dollar to put like a pair of Nikes on my feet that I really wanted when I was a kid, like all the meals, everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hon.
No, but like, you know,
you're very lucky to have a mom that loves you that much and you to love her that much. And you're right, you know, you've learned over time your mom's not perfect. She's far from perfect. So is mine. But you understand the sacrifices she made, and you're right. And I do need to take that into consideration.
Our kids, the
you know what? Can I just say something?
That they're living right now. They're gonna grow up, Sheridan, and realize like how much we did for them. Okay. Like everything that we did, and like do your thing. But I mean, like all the shit that we did.
I was gonna say yes. Our children are very privileged. We recognize that absolutely. But our children also have issues 100%. And even Kaya at this moment with her anxiety, which, by the way, is crippling her. And that's something we can talk about. But what I wanted to say when you're talking about, like, you know, sacrifices that your parents made, I even think back on something. And I know actually because my mom... I don't talk about my mom often on here for no particular reason. My mom and I are...
You never do. Sheridan has a mom.
Yeah, and we talk, probably because we talk all day, every day on the phone. But my mom was sick when I was in university, and she had something called Cushing's, very rare disease that they ended up finding out. And while they were in there and figured that out, they also saw that she had brain tumors in her head, and they had to be removed. And my mom hid that from us. And some might look at that and think like, why would you do that? Especially because in our family, like me and you and the kids, I think we say everything all the time, almost like, okay, Matt, settle down. Like when I found out I was pregnant with Sage and you literally walked downstairs and told the children, like we couldn't have even waited 1 minute, you know? That's the way our family rolls.
I like it.
But I think of my mom that was going through all of that, and she didn't want her children to worry in university. She wanted them to be living their lives, having fun, not having to worry about mom at home. You know, I remember when I came home from university, and my mom also had skin cancer on her lip. And I remember I would walk to her room at times, and she was just crying with a bloody lip, you know, and she would go upstairs and hide that from us because...
With a bloody lip?
Because it would open every time that she was eating, right? And she didn't want us to see that, because not that I don't think it had anything to do with her not wanting to be vulnerable. I think it's just that she wanted us to not have to worry about her. And that's just what moms do, right? They don't want you to, like, Kaya's like, how are you? And again, I've talked about this many times. I do talk about my emotions, and I will say, like, I'm having a crap day, like, right? But I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. And actually, to further this point, when you were away in Colorado, one thing I realized, and the thing that I think I realized the most, beyond how grateful I am that you'll take the kids and like go to the commons and do stuff with them and like give me a second, was how much I appreciate having somebody to talk to about our children. Somebody that understands, like, the person that also has children with me. Like, we know them better than anyone, right? And I realized that because Theo, I forget what exactly had happened, but something had happened that made me frustrated. And I wasn't telling you because I didn't want you to be in Colorado being like, oh my God, and worrying about it and stuff. Oh, I did end up telling you. What was it?
Yeah, well, I remember.
No, but that was towards the end.
It was, he was crying himself to sleep and saying he had no friends at school.
Yes, it's coming back to me. So
imagine dealing with that. Oh my God.
That's it, right? So like, it's funny because Theo can come home and be a total dick and like piss everybody off and do this, and it doesn't break my heart because I'm like, he knows he's loved in this home, right? Like he can go to sleep knowing that we love him no matter what, blah blah blah. But when he had come home and I had gotten upset at him with something, and then he came back in and just started bawling his eyes out and saying that he was having a hard time.
Oh my God.
It was the start of the school year. Like, he's trying to figure it out. He's on the big playground now. And Theo's so much, you want to be my friend? You want to love me? Right? So he has a hard time with that.
He finds a lot of validation in other people's opinions.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. So we're trying to work through that. And he was, making these new friends and stuff and having a hard time. And I didn't want to tell you that. And I didn't tell you till the last day because you're like, I'm booking my flight home. I'm coming home early. And I'm like, settle down. But I didn't want to tell you. And so I was lying there with Kaya because she wanted to sleep with me all week. And I'm like, oh, Kaya. And I started to say it. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, Theo. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm like, this isn't for you. And it's not. Like, I'll tell her I'm having a hard time, but I'm not going to divulge that information because I'm like, then she's just going to worry because Kaya is empathetic, right? So it made me realize how much solace I find in like talking to you and having you around for the kids and just how important that is. And especially in regards to Theo. And as my mom has said, when we were chatting, this past week is how important you are to him. Yeah. And how you can say all the right things. Like, I'm there for him and he's obsessed with his mom, but like, he needs you more than anything,
No, we went on a tangent there.
Yeah, we did.
Well, the point of it though was that you need to, it was that statement that I made about how when you think about everything that your parents went through, it's going to make you question your parenting a lot less.
Yes, I was having a hard time. I remember now.
It's you're an amazing mom. Oh my God, you're an amazing mom, and the kids are so lucky to have you, Sheridan.
I just hate how much mom guilt I feel all the time.
Why? About what?
Well, like, okay, let's say you go to the Commons last night, and I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to stay here, and then I feel guilty for not going, and then I feel guilty if I'm cleaning the house, and if they're out. It's just, mom guilt is just so bleh. But I know I'm a good mom. I guess just at this point.
Oh my God! Every time I'm taking the damn kids out of here, I'm trying to give you a break. You better not be sitting at home feeling like shit over it. No. The whole reason I'm leaving with them is to like get you some.
I know that.
Sheridan, you are so in the thick of it, 24 hours a day. You don't need to feel guilty about anything, Sheridan. Our children are so frigging lucky to have you in their lives. Exactly. I've never really seen a person like you. You sleeping on your back and no, but you have this ability to, you don't let the world get to you ever. You're the only person that I may have ever met like that.
Really?
Who else?
I don't know.
I don't know anyone like that. Like, I think about all of our best friends and all of my siblings and everything, and like the conversations that I've had with them when I've seen them in their lowest of lows and stuff, and like, you just like fairy tale on through life. It's weird and like really commendable. I love it because I ride the roller coaster. I'm very much like wham and back up and wham and back up and shit. And like, it's really awesome having you in my life because you make the like lows slightly less low. Like you keep me going.
I think a lot of times for me, and like a lot of people will say, "Oh, Sheridan doesn't have an opinion. Sheridan's not controversial." But I think
literally doesn't.
I think I actually don't. But I think for starters, I'm just so focused on the kids. I don't know what I'd be like. When I was 24 and we got together, I was still pretty naive and immature and whatnot. And sometimes I actually think to myself, what would Sheridan be right now at 34, childless and matless? Like, what would I be doing? Would I have invested, time in something else and became like, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. But
it's fun to think about, isn't it?
It is. But I think right now I'm just so focused on my family and what I can grasp onto that I can actually change or that I can actually work on and things like this. And for you and the things that you get frustrated about and like world stuff and, things like that. And in my mind, I just think, well, what can you do about it? Because the answer is literally nothing. Like you personally. So it's like, why let those things affect you and bring you down and focus on the things that you can change, right? Like you say you want to work on your health. Well, that's something you can change. That'll make you happier. You say you want to focus on, I don't know, I'm just coming up with examples now. Your videography and getting better at making videos because you have fun doing that. It's like, well, that's something you can change for yourself. Or anything really, your relationships with your friends, like things like that you can actually focus on, that you can make a difference in. And I guess that's why I'm just like, well, what can I focus on and make a difference on versus just getting frustrated about things that I can't actually do anything about, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, that makes sense, though.
That's just how I must look at things, I guess.
I think people's like every person in this world is going to find purpose and fulfillment in something in their own thing, right? Every person's going to be a little bit different, but I think in the world when you sit there and you're like, what would I be doing if I wasn't this? If you weren't a mom and a wife and all this, and it's like, but you are. And so, the difference that you can make in the world is raising 3 amazing kids and helping to provide for your husband and spreading good energy. Because then what happens is your one body turned into 3 more bodies. And if they're like you and have your positive spirit and energy and everything, and that's what they're bringing into the world, and then if each one of those 3 kids has 3 kids, there's 9 people that are like spreading good energy into the world, right? So that's what your job is right now, making good humans. But not everyone's like that. Some people can't have babies, so they'll find fulfillment elsewhere. But I did Reiki like 20, was it like?
You did?
20, man, how long ago? It was 20 years ago. Yeah, it was like almost to the day. It literally was almost to the day. Wow. I did Reiki one time, and one of the things that I really took from it through my session was I was working at McDonald's at the time, and she was saying to me that, even though you've got this measly ass job and you're friggin' minimum wage and all that shit, she's like, you're still providing food and good service to the people around you. So even in the morning, when you get that guy at McDonald's that hands the coffee through the window and you have a nice day, ma'am, like, oh, your hair looks great. Just positive people. Like that small little thing that person did can have such a ripple effect on everybody around them.
Absolutely.
So like even when you're just flipping burgers at McDonald's, just do a good job. Like when you get a Big Mac that's like not falling over and lettuce and pickles, too many pickles and everything. Like when they do it like they're supposed to do it, and you get a good one, it's like, man, thank you. You made a good burger. Thank you. Like, and then I go on happier. Or I'm using McDonald's as a reference, but like,
I'm happy after my burger.
But it is important that everybody, regardless of how they feel about their status on the totem pole of life, like every person, because you said something about like, what's the complaining do or blah blah blah, when like you can't actually change it, but you can be a change.
That's what I'm saying.
You can, in a small way, be a part of. We're all, what are they, all cogs in the wheel kind of thing? Like,
but that's the point I'm saying to you, Matt, is that you can make a change. You can make a change.
I agree. I fully agree.
Right. But then there's certain things that you can't change, and there's no need to focus on those things.
Give me an example.
Well, I'm just...
Without saying the word Justin.
I'm just talking about things like that, though. About, like, the taxes and the lifestyle and things like this, and just really anything that you have an issue with in the world. Because in the same breath, you know, we're grateful, like where we live.
Still show up to the. I'm a very, very grateful person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anyone to think I'm not that.
Right.
I have my things that I complain about and all that shit, but I'm a very, very, very grateful person, and I think I'm really self-aware, which I
Right.
think is important.
That is important.
I think it's really important to be self-aware about like who you are and how your impact on society can be a thing.
Yeah. One thing I just
can we please talk about Colorado before this episode's over?
Yeah. How long have we been speaking?
How long have we been speaking?
How long have we been talking about?
Matthew, how long have we been speaking?
Well,
We got like 20 minutes.
Oh wow, really?
Well, we burned up like 15 or 20 with Lloyd friggin' around our feet and everything. So, what did you want to bring up?
No, go ahead. Talk about Colorado. I want to hear about your trip.
Well, no. Well, I think the thing about my mom is a good segue.
I'd like to also say
okay,
that I let Matt go for 8 whole days. And he keeps saying, well, you went on all these other trips, which
Sheridan
is
went to
true.
Toronto, Montreal, Miami, and somewhere else.
Excuse me. I did not go to Toronto. I went to Toronto once.
Yeah, you went to Toronto twice.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I'll get the itineraries up.
Oh, my.
So
Anywho.
Daddy went on a trip with his mom. And a part of me, like, my mom is so fresh in my mind right now, and I get very emotional about my mother. I love her so much. My mama's boy. And anyway, so when I was going on that little rant about mom and the sacrifice she's made, and then like when mom and I went down to Colorado, we had so much fun. So it was my cousin's wedding, and I hadn't seen this cousin in 22 years. And I actually don't know how old he was the last time I saw him. Sheridan, get it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Get it.
Here I go.
So like I hadn't seen him since he was like 10 years old or something. I'm trying. Let's actually talk, okay? Because I feel like you've heard this story a few times, but you didn't add any value to it. So let's have a conversation. Imagine there was someone in your family, Sheridan, like someone that you were really close to at one point. Mm-hmm. Like pretty close, that you hadn't seen 22 years.
Yeah, so I do.
And then they're getting married in front
I
of you.
do quickly just want to say that I was never overly close to my cousins growing up. So I don't think I really realized like how special it would be for you, because my cousins were in Ottawa, but we'd hang out on like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter. And I liked them, but I didn't really like them. Like,
Well, you know what my mom and her sister are like. They're together all the time
I
when
know.
they can be around.
Right. So I think for me, I didn't really understand like the relationship and how exciting it would be for you, simply because I didn't grow up like that. And then when I spoke to your sister and I was talking about it, and she's like, oh yeah, we had sleepovers with them all the time. Like, that wasn't my childhood. So I don't think I really thought. I just thought, oh, you're going to your cousin's wedding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the more
the
I was like,
magnitude of it, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, keep going.
Well, it's Sheridan. You know how obsessed with Tom I am.
Right.
You know this. Mm-hmm. Like, did you swim in the ocean this summer?
Yes, I did.
When?
Well, I can't recall exactly, but I went in.
When did you go in the ocean? I wasn't there. When were you in the ocean?
Oh, I went in at my dad's with Theo and Kai, and we swam over to the dock.
You did. So you went one time this summer.
Yeah.
See, I'm like one of these people. I always think about if because a year is like a pretty like easy time measurement. So it's like, how many times did you do something this year? Mm-hmm. And it's like I went on my wave runner in the ocean once or twice, but I didn't like get in the water and go swimming this year.
Right.
So I missed a whole year of ocean swimming.
Right.
So like,
you didn't go in?
No.
And I did.
I don't think I did.
Wow.
So I just sit there and I'm like our Ottawa trips that we do once a year.
You didn't come.
Like if you live a good life and you make it to like
85.
I guess 85, something like that, whatever. Like, but how many of those are like awesome and you're like capable and like able to like rock?
I think 85 is a new 75, in my opinion. So let's
okay,
do
that's
85.
cool. So I'm 38 years old now.
Okay.
Like in 30 more summers, I'm almost 70 years old. Mm-hmm. 70. In 30 summers. I just missed a whole summer of not swimming in the ocean. So like, let's say I go every second summer now. That gives me what, 15 more ocean swims.
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
more ocean swims.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm looking at my cousins now. I'm like, I haven't seen you in 22 fucking years, and we were buds at one point.
Right.
If we do that again, I'll be 60. If I wait that same rotation, I'll be 60 years old. And when I say that I'm really self-aware, it's like I think about that shit all the time. Like you have to be aware that like your time on this rock isn't promised. You really need to make the most of it. You have to, because it's just gonna just disappear. And you're gonna look back and go like, holy shit, man. So this Colorado trip for me was like a fucking crazy head trip. Like going down there and seeing my cousins, like the girls are all beautiful now. The last time I saw them, they were like little turds at the playground. They're women now. They're full grown women with boobs and bums and boyfriends and fiancés, and now they're getting married. I'm like, what just happened to our whole life? Like, so Mom and I have never done anything like this before. Like I don't even know if Mom and I ever anything. Like we never did anything. She just mommed me, and then I left the house and came back for pizza night every now and then. Like we've never done anything together. And Mom and I went to Mom and I were like 5 minutes into our trip. We were at the airport, and there's my mom drinking the first margarita I think she's ever had and eating this big freaking burrito. Probably a bad idea before getting on an airplane. We landed in Colorado, and Mom goes, man, the guy next to me was farting the whole plane ride. I was like, Mom, that was me. That was the damn burrito we ate. And
Ew, man.
But Mom, oh my God, why did we get the black beans? Buddy, I had like one consistent fart coming out of my butt for like 4 straight. It was like there was probably less time I wasn't farting than I actually was.
Disgusting.
They were silent, and I didn't even think they smelled. But anyway, where am I going with this? So Mom and I just like went on a trip, and we were like friends. We had the Mustang for the week, and we had that roof was down the whole time. Like it was just roof down, and we did so many awesome things. Like we landed pretty late, so by the time with the time change, or by the time we got to the house, like I was like kind of bummed out a little bit pulling up to the house. I was like, man, I'm all out of energy and shit now, and like I'm about to see all my cousins and all these people for the first time in so long. And like the door opened up, and it was like Home Alone, like the big family party going on and everything, and pizza and all this shit. And that first night we got there was like 4 hours. Like the only reason we went to bed is because it was like, man, we got a lot to do tomorrow. Like let's just go to bed now. But we were up all night laughing, and Janan's boyfriend Nick, like, oh my God, and Brandon, like Danielle's fiance Brandon, like we just clicked right away. The bromance in that room, and then Ethan, my cousin that I hadn't seen in 22 years, the man, and like we picked up like we didn't lose a minute. It's so cool when you can have those relationships.
And
where
I also think there's something to it with family. Like there's just something else.
Not always.
No, but when it is good, I think there's like another level, right?
Yeah.
Because not only are you guys just friends, you're like, this is also my family. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because if you go one level up, it's like the only reason we're here is because Nanny had these two, and then those two had us.
Right.
So, but it was crazy, and I thought it was super cool how 2 decades between us all didn't change anything. It was like we were all best friends in the room, and the energy was good. And then we went up to Boulder the next day, and then went up for the wedding. So we went up and had like this big awesome dinner the second night, and then the third day, well, I guess it would have been like the second full day, was the day of the wedding. And the wedding was so much fun, and we went all through Boulder and did like whiskey tastings and everything, and then went up into the Sheridan's like, and I was at home.
No, I'm just thinking about all the text messages you sent me at the wedding.
Just wanted our baby so bad.
I love you. Baby.
Man,
weddings will do that. They will.
Weddings are the best.
They will, because everybody's so in love and so happy, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I love my person. Weddings are good for that.
I think too, when you are a married person, if you're married, and then you watch someone else's marriage who you love and adore, and then you hear the sermon, the guy
pastor.
doing the pastor doing the little speech thing, and all the like, till death do it. When he just go like every guy will bring his own little vibe to it. This guy had some humor in it, which was really enjoyed.
That's
He
nice.
had everyone laughing and stuff.
Right.
But like, you're just here, and the whole time I'm just thinking, oh my God, I love Sheridan so much. Like everything that he said, it was almost like I was renewing my vows to you. It was like when he was saying everything, I was like, yes, like, yeah, that's my girl. Yeah, like everything he was saying, I was like, yes, I love Sheridan so frigging much. It like validated all my love for you. And then just seeing everyone happy and the dancing and the drinks and like, oh my God, it was so funny. So at the bar, they wouldn't give you shots.
Oh.
They wouldn't give you shots because it was an open bar, but they wouldn't do the shot thing because I think they were trying to like keep people kind of gauging like how deep they were going here. And so Nick and Brandon and I were basically on a mission the entire night to try and coerce the person and trick them into shots. So we ended up figuring out like the legalities around the shot. Basically, we had to order a drink without the mix.
And then pour it in?
And so it had to come in a highball glass filled with ice and the alcohol, but without the mix.
Okay.
That was our way around. Like that was, but she never told us this. It was just Nick basically going through like 1,000 different variables of ordering things to figure out how to do it. So in the end, we were doing tequila shots. It was amazing. And oh my God, the whole thing was so fun. And I gotta speed this up. But then we went to the Rockies game and we went to the freaking zoo and like, I didn't know elephant penises were that large. That was a thing.
I knew.
You knew?
Remember that time?
Man, there's never been a bigger grower in the world than an elephant.
Remember didn't I send you a reel where it was like, there was just like the camera? I sent you and there's an elephant walking and his dick flies into the camera.
But he was dragging on the ground.
It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable.
No, but it was so funny because I looked over at Lynn, who was Uncle Kevin's sister. I was like, typical man. Because he's walking around with his penis dragging on the ground. Not like that's every man, but walking around with the erect penis until the guy, the trainer guy, brought the food out, and then it was like, and sucked completely back. It didn't have a penis anymore. It went right into its body and was gone as soon as his brain thought of something else.
Yes,
it was just so funny. I was like, typical man.
I do just want to say I do not like zoos, but I'm going to hope that I'm sorry, I just have to say it.
Yeah, say it.
But I hope that there is some sort of, whether it's rescued animals, I'm not sure. I know the one that we go up to in the Annapolis Valley, I forget what it's called, I'm having a brain fart, but they're all rescued animals and they have their story on them that I can appreciate. I cannot appreciate when there's a fucking giraffe in a little cage and there's elephants walking around.
It's tough.
I don't like it. I don't like it, and you supported it by going there.
No, but they're basically like sacrificial lambs. So basically what's happening here, the way it was explained to us, is that all those animals in there, every dollar that comes in there that isn't paying the groundskeepers and all that stuff, but every dollar that goes in there goes right back into animal preservation and like looking after the animals of the world. So that elephant was straight up raising money for other elephants to save thousands, because I think he said there was 50,000 of them left in the world.
Yeah.
And the money that goes from that zoo goes to those elephants to keep them like...
I understand. But just imagine. Imagine being a tiger in a cage for your whole life.
I saw one there. They had a tiger. And it was a pretty dope cage. But I mean, yeah.
Have you seen the SeaWorld thing? Like the SeaWorld thing?
The orca thing's different because the orcas can't even fucking move. And they're really smart. Like, that sucks. Like, some animals
it all sucks. Move along.
No,
I just want you to agree with me that it all sucks, but I like that you
so it's held the zoo.
Yeah. Keep going.
No, you're not leaving me on this shit though.
What shit?
You can validate it if the zoo is taking all of the money and helping animals.
Sure. You
like
can't validate it, but you can say it's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It would be the best thing in the world if there was no fucking
Well, here's
zoos.
what they do. If there was no fucking zoos, what do you think's going to happen?
Just let them all run free in Africa. Live
and
your
what?
best life.
They cut the tusks off and kill them.
Okay.
Buddy, if the zoos weren't there would be no elephants. The zoo's money is literally keeping them alive.
Okay, I love you. Keep going.
Oh, I'm not like some zoologist, but I mean, like, that's how it works, Sheridan. If these animals weren't looked after, they would be gone because humans suck.
Yeah.
Man, shark fin soup over in China, they literally take a shark, haul it out of the water, chop the fin off the top, throw the shark in and it dies. They don't even use its teeth, its blubber, anything. Just let it die. Take the fin and they throw it in a bowl of soup. And you don't even eat it. I think you actually eat around the fin. It's there as like a garnish.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
I hate humans sometimes.
And humans suck. But yeah, the point of these zoos is to like preserve wildlife. Because all the money goes to like...
What do you think? I know we're still talking about Colorado, but what do you think the world would look like if there was no humans?
Probably incredible.
Like, would it just completely thrive in animals?
Absolutely.
Just imagine what the world would look like if we weren't here fucking it up. Anyway, keep going.
When was Chernobyl? So in 1986, they had this giant nuclear disaster in Chernobyl in Russia. And that was, so what would that be? 28 years ago? 27? Don't check my math. 27 years ago. No, 37. 37 years ago. Frig off. 37 years. So in 37 years, Chernobyl now, because there's no people left there, is completely, it was a city, and now the city's completely green. And all the animals are coming back in. So like in the high rises and everything, there's like deer walking around and moose and shit. Cool. And it's completely overrun with animals now, and it's green. All the city, there's like vines growing up the buildings and everything. Which is pretty cool. So like in 30-ish years, it completely went back to wildlife.
Fascinating. Keep going.
No, but it was just really magical. It was awesome. It was awesome being away from the kids.
Yeah.
Like I think when I got home and like decompressed and like tried to dilute it down to what was dope about it, I was like, man, being free for 7 or 8 days.
Man.
I'm back in my routine. I went to the bike park last night.
Not being a dad for 8, by the way, it's not 7, 8.
Buddy, stop adding time.
Buddy, you left on Friday and returned on Saturday night. So you were gone for 8 whole days.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't have to, this is why
Sure,
like,
you do it too. You just disperse it in many trips.
But I'm saying like for me, when we go away on that vacation once a year in March, like the highlight for me, every fucking morning I get up and I make the stupid lunches, I get them dressed, I make the beds, I walk Lloyd, I do it all. And I'm like, and I just get to wake up and just decide what I'm going to do for myself. Like and like for you, and as I said, when we talked about your trip, what I think was so cool and how you're like, we just can't replicate that again is because nobody there has children yet. So you guys were basically living partying like you were 18-year-olds again.
Yeah.
Like you got to sleep in, do whatever, play games in the basement, go to movies, go to the games, go to dinners. Like you lived like you were a 20-year-old that had no responsibilities. And I doubt that very much that's going to happen again in that situation because you were also with your mom. I
secretly already booked a trip.
No, but you were also with your mom and they were with their parents. So it kind of just felt like you were like a young kid.
No, that's why it was the greatest trip that will ever happen.
Right.
That's why. Because it's one of those things, mad obsessed with time, before you die, all that shit.
Right.
This was the thing, this was this little week-long pocket of life that will never happen again.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're coming down next summer. It won't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be. It's not going to be the same.
Yep.
That was a magical little window of time where me and mom and all the cousins, like pre all the kids and all that shit that's about to happen, we were hanging and we were just like chilling and vibing out.
Not to be a
Buddy,
dad.
it was so awesome. It was so freaking amazing. And since I know they're all going to listen, it's because everyone's like, when are you going to talk about it?
They listen to the podcast now?
No, but they're going to listen to
They'll
this
be
one.
tuning in only for this one.
Yeah, this one, and then they're out. They're not even relatable.
Yeah.
No, but I think
like I hate this podcast.
I just want to say to all of them, I'm not going to get into each name right now, but it was just really cool just seeing the family and like everyone doing something with their life and everyone doing it on different scales. And I don't know how to even talk about this without saying names, but like everyone just doing their own thing. And Anessa and I'm just fucking say the name. Anessa and I had like so much awesome time together. Like we spent like 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 hours or something. We went and got tattoos for a couple days. Yeah. And Anessa's the youngest of the 4 kids. And like her and I just like really connected. And I thought it was just super cool seeing her. And like she's working at, I think it's a Whole Foods or a Walgreens. I think it's Whole Foods. She works at Whole Foods and like she's like covered in ink and she skateboards and like she's kind of has like that like hippie-ish vibe to her a little bit. I just think she's so freaking cool. I thought she was super awesome. And like we really had like a good bond together. And then like Ethan, I didn't see him as much as I would have liked to because he got married and had to run away to Thailand and everything. But like even connecting with Ethan, I was like, oh my God, all your little idiosyncrasies and shit are just like I remember you when you were a kid. He laughs the same, his shoulders move the same. It's funny how some of those attributes, they last your whole life.
Isn't it?
They fucking last your whole life.
I know.
And then Janan is just like, oh my God, this woman is fucking amazing. Like I've swore a lot in this episode. She's so cool. Janan is freaking amazing. Like, oh my God, what a fun person to be around. Her energy and her smile, and she's so beautiful and like, wow, like so cool. And then Danielle is freaking Danielle, and I didn't get as much time with her as I would have liked. Like we chilled for maybe like a couple hours one night and talked about how she really wants to get tattoos and stuff. But it was funny, like Danielle I was like unloading my life story on her and she was so quick to get on the creeping all the old people in my life and everything. And it was amazing seeing her. And she's got the most beautiful eyes of anyone I've ever seen in my life. Like she's got these like icy, I was like, you and Sage have the same eye thing going on. Right. And then a shout out to the guys too, Nick and Brandon, the boyfriend, fiance of,
yes,
they were awesome. And Nick's gonna get me shredded over the next few months. He's a personal fitness guy, and I think you're gonna see Brandon and I in business together one day.
Oh yeah,
I really do. Brandon's a really awesome guy, and I think you're gonna love him next summer. He's filled with good conversation and good energy, and he's got that entrepreneurial mindset, which just I freaking love. So like, man, just hanging out with Brandon and Nick and everybody, and man, it was just the best thing ever. And seeing Mom smiling for a week straight was just like, I don't even want to cry again. I just love my mom so much. It was just wicked. It was just the best thing ever. It was the best freaking trip.
You know, at the end of a movie when there's just credits that go on forever, and like nobody's watching anymore.
I had to do it.
Are you guys still here? No, I'm kidding. I know you wanted to make a mention to them because you've been home and you haven't shut up about each and every one of them and how special it was. So I'm glad that you got a moment to talk about them and how wonderful they were. And I'm glad I didn't go, simply for the fact that I know if I went, it would have been a very different trip. We would have had completely different situations. You would not have been able. You would not have been able to bond with your cousins like that and have all that individual time, because I would have been like, let's go here, let's go there, and you would have come, and it would have been more like a trip for us. So I'm so grateful. Which also
would have been incredible.
Yeah, it would have, but I'm so grateful you got to do that. And then when they come for the wedding, I'm excited to get to know them as well. So it's
God, I wonder if me and you should do a trip, me and you going down there.
Yeah, Matt goes back down.
Mom, you owe me one now.
Yeah.
You can watch the kids for a week. Me and Sheridan are going down.
Yeah.
Do you pee in the shower?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Do you?
You pee in the shower? What's your accuracy like?
To the drain, I just pee.
And what, it just goes all over the place? No. Where does it go?
Excuse me. Let me just clear up the air here. I don't hold my pee in and I'm like, oh, I gotta pee, I'll just do it in the shower. Like, I'll go pee. I'll hop in the shower. My pelvic floor, since I've had 3 children, is not top notch. They always say you should be doing like Kegels and stuff after you have kids. You know what I mean? I think a guy can do a Kegel too.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm also doing it once.
Asshole all puckered up.
So I should have done a better job. I should probably still go to see somebody for my pelvic floor. But like, it's like I can always pee a little. So in the shower, I'm just like, gotta pee a little before I get out. Do you pee in the shower?
I frequently pee in the shower.
Crazy.
My accuracy is incredible, though. It just goes right down the hole.
It's crazy to me when people say they don't pee in the shower, because I think they're all liars. Don't you?
I think they're all freaking lying.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you pee in a pool?
No, God, no. I don't pee in pools. No, there's some.
Yeah, no,
do you?
No, I don't. It's just the way you were so sure that I think you're lying.
Oh, yes, sometimes does. No.
You know how they say
the last time I peed in the pool was probably like 25 years ago, like when I was a kid.
Okay, I'm going to be honest, though. I have.
What?
I have peed in the pool on all-inclusive vacations because the pool's so big. And if you're a little bit drunk, sometimes you have to pee.
You're a pool peer.
No, I've done it, Matt. You can't label me as a pool peer because I did it once when I was drunk.
Oh,
and to be honest,
God.
I guarantee you almost 75% of people, that's how sure I am, of people that are listening to this, have peed in a pool. I put my life on it. So,
leave a comment.
No, but I was.
I'm a pool peer.
That's the title. Pool peer? Question mark.
A peel pooer?
No, but I was gonna say. I don't know if this
pooped in a pool? No. Theo's birthday. Here's a funny little story for you. So we went up to like a Super 8 or something back March 25th for Theodore's birthday, and we went up there with all these kids, and it was the last swim of the day. It was like 7:00. We had gotten back from like the A&W trip and all that shit, and like things were winding down. All the kids wanted to jump in the pool one last time, and I'm looking around and like something caught Theodore's eye. He was like over on the side of the pool. And I'm like, what is he looking at? And he's over there with Carson. And they start going this with their hands. And they're trying to like, it looked like he was trying to get a frog out of the pool or something.
Oh my God.
And then I look over and there's a ball of shit on, like it was like it looked like a golf ball, but it was brown.
Of course the boys are touching it.
No, hold on. So Theodore gets it up. And at this point, him and Carson, they're like leaning over the edge of the pool looking at it. And I could see them like, I can't hear them because they're too far away. But what he was saying was, it's got to be poop. And so then you see Theodore's finger go down.
No!
Theodore starts,
No,
Yeah,
he
Theodore,
touched it?
Theodore pokes the poop ball.
my God.
And so the other parents were seeing this. So all the people on the perimeter of the pool were all like nauseated and seeing Theodore touching it, and they're all like hitting each other, laughing and everything. And like I see this one woman like like, and so then Sage sees the poop, and now Sage is running over because he can't believe there's a poop in the pool. And then it was like, meow, meow, like the whole pool got shut down. Like they come in with hazmat suits and start getting the turds out. And
Imagine pooping in a pool. Like imagine having to go that bad that you can't walk the 2 steps to the bathroom and you poop in the pool.
no, but everyone's looking at me because of Sage. I'm like, it wasn't Sage. He has a little swimmer on. Like, anyway.
I wonder who it was.
Pooped?
It was Theo. Can you imagine the plot twist?
It was Sheridan.
Yeah. Okay, we're happy to be back. Love you guys. See you next week, right, Matt?
Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, Mom.
Oh, that's cute, man.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.